Hello everybody, my name is Anrishak and welcome today to the video that I never knew that I would make in the first place. Today is just going to be another analysis game, but this one was the longest game I played in my life, took about 1.5 hours to complete, and it was also one of the only over-the-board games that I have played in a long time, and it was against my physics teacher. I'm being that serious. I challenged him to a game after we were given our end of year results. And well, let's just say that it is one of the craziest games that I have seen ever. So let's look at it from my perspective and let's begin. So what do you think my teacher chose as the opening move? B4, yes. Now you may have seen that I've turned the evaluation bar off because this is a game I want you to see without Stockfish yapping the best moves. It's better this way. I respond with e5, the most principled approach as I want, and he continues the craziness with b4 a3, what I call the physics opening, because it makes no sense like physics. Anyway, d5, bishop here, I support the center, and he's clearly preparing for the move d4, after which I could lock the center, I could take, but then my king is weak, so I just develop the bishop. He develops the knight, clearly grabbing that grip of the d4 square. He really wants to play it strong. He will have 4 pieces supporting the pawn. So I play a3. This move is very simple. I really wanted to play knight to c6, but I also did not want the pawn to be any trouble of kicking my knight around. And so I played a3, it's a reasonable move. And he played d5 as expected. I played bishop to d6, and till this day I cannot explain why on earth did I not lock this down, or not take at least, or not even play c6. No, this doesn't work. This is too passive. And after he shuffles his knight to g3 because his d4 plan has worked, I drop the bishop back, and now he takes. Anyone and their grandma here is taking with the bishop, because after takes and takes, you're fine with a strong center. That is not what I did, as I took with the f-pawn, dropping my d-pawn. Great start. Except this is a very bad move. Can you spot the tactic here that wins the game for black on the spot? It is of course this. I can guarantee you 100% if I was playing on a computer I would have seen this. But because I was playing over the board, everything looks so different too. Of course, why is this bad? After you recapture, I take your queen for free. But I did not go down this line, as instead I attacked the queen and dropped my pawn on b7. So this is just peak chess right now, you know, I'm down 2 pawns, and my rook is hanging. So okay, what do? Only move knight d7. Open the defense. And now comes the rumbling of the c-pawn. This pawn will soon become a nightmare for my position, as you will see later. I played a5. Why did I play a5? Well, I wanted to rip open, and if he had taken this pawn, which he did not, I had the move rook to b8 ready, x-raying down the file, and his queen can go here, it can go here, and it can go here and here. None of those squares guard the bishop, and I would have won it. That was the idea of a5, but of course he's not that dumb, and he pushes my bishop back. If Stockfish turned on the evaluation here, I think it thought like -4 for black, so for me, I'm dead lost. Bishop here, I'm pinned, and the idea here, of course, is to just pin me so that I cannot move. So I castled. It's one of the best moves actually to castle in this position to get my back rank very strong, to get my knight a lot of freeway. And remember, he hasn't castled, and look how open the lines to his king are. If I could somehow get into there, it's gonna get nasty. Of course, he plays c6. So c4, c5, c6. I told you this is gonna be a nightmare. Look how strong the pawn is here behind the bishop and the queen. The queen is a little boxed in though, so I go for a bit of tickle. After that I block the queen in. The queen is now basically useless, it cannot escape, and this is its only safe square, so I was thinking about somehow getting the bishop here to like completely trap it, disallow this pawn from moving, but there is the knight here. The awkward knight on g3 is what's actually holding this plan from working. After this, however, I do drop a pawn. That was the benefit of the knight going away, so now I am down 3 pawns, and I don't see that my c7 is hanging. Again, this is a move that you just don't want to do, because if you had taken, I would have taken with check. You see it's check, and you would have to block. Either way, I would get either your bishop out or your knight out, or force you not to castle. Of course, you cannot do this because this is just, you just die, you move. I can show this line. If this, I give the check, and like I come back and I'm completely and utterly safe. I can play, let's say, bishop here and I'm safe. You cannot do any harm to me. I did not go that down that line, oops. So I took here, but of course I missed that c7 is hanging. Now I did play a sneaky little move here, which is queen to e8, saying if you take with the bishop, I do this. If you take with the queen, I still somehow want to get this massive skewer onto you. You have 3 pieces that are unprotected. Let me attack them. Okay. So he plays queen to a7, understandably. Now his pieces are guarded. And what I am going here after is, this knight is only guarded by, this bishop is only guarded by the queen, so let me attack it with knight to d5. And well, ladies and gentlemen, this is my lowest point in the game. I think the evaluation around this point was -4, and I don't think that it ever has gotten worse. I saw the winning move on the board while I was playing, but my teacher, he just didn't like something about it. There was something fishy to him after being up 2 rooks. You know what I mean? The winning move here, well done if you spotted it, c7. Attack on the queen, attack on the rook with a threat to promote. I had several ideas going into this. My first was, can I danger level the queen? Well, I can't, really. I can't. Because he would take, I would take, and he would promote. No good. So he would take, I would have to take, and he is just now completely winning. He's up a full queen. So this doesn't work. Okay, what about takes here? Same problem. Takes, I have to capture, I have nothing else. He takes with check, I run, I'm down 2 rooks. This is no good once again. And so, what is the other idea after c7? I had this ridiculous idea which I wanted to play, which was queen f7. Sacrificing the rook entirely for the chance to do something down here. Nothing works here. I calculated as far as this with the mate threat, but I had nothing. Of course, if you take the bishop, I just checkmate you. If you, for instance, I don't know, take the rook, fine, but you're just completely fine. I was ready to resign. c7 was the move to play. After 20 minutes of thought, my teacher said, whose move is this? He thought it was my move. If it were my move, I'm just taking this and I'm completely chill. Sorry, not taking this. If it were my move, sorry, not in, here. If it were my move, I'm just taking this. I don't know why he thought it was my move. Why would I think for 20 minutes about taking a free bishop? Never mind. After that, he gave it 5 minutes of thought and played bishop to c4. My mind was blown. I was like, what? Why on earth did you not like being up to rooks? I talked to him after the game. He saw c7. He just didn't like it. I'm being dead ass serious. What can he have not liked? I have no idea. But I'm not going to criticize because he is probably watching this video right now because I sent him a link. Have a blessed holiday, Mr. Teacher. So, in this position, only after the game, I saw the move queen takes c6. Getting rid of the pawn, attacking here. The best continuation for him is probably this. And he's up 5 points of material. He was up 6 previously. But this drops. So, not even takes here was the best. The best was probably what I ended up playing, which was here, bishop f7. And after this, he had, again, this is a very complicated position because c6 is hanging. But if I take it with the queen, you can chop the knight and take my bishop, as I just showed. So you also have to take into consideration that your bishop is hanging, because it's attacked twice. But what he ended up playing in the position was c7 now, but I just slid over with the rook to a8, a bit of tickle. And after he moved the queen, I decided to take on b6. If he had just recaptured without thinking, he loses a bishop. So he did the best continuation, which was take with check. I recaptured with the queen. And then he took. Still, down 6 points of material, so 3 pawns and a minor piece. But what he missed, and what he actually freaked out so much about in the game, is the idea of again taking on f2. It's not the best idea, but I don't really have much else. When you're down this much material, you gotta go after the king. Listen, I have 4 pieces, poorly coordinated. I gotta go after the king, and I'm stopping promotion like every second. Only move, of course, king to d2, d1, sorry. Now, the craziest part is that the c-pawn literally blocks my checking square here, which could have been devastating for him. So I played the move because I actually realized that his rook is freaking trapped. And so I played this move. Now I was again thinking, can he sacrifice the promotion or something? No, he can't. No lines really work here. He goes for rook f1. Decent move. I just slide the queen over. And here I was really thinking about, if he takes, and I take, and he takes, and this takes, there is still one rook guarding the promotion. So that is no good for him. Plus the queen also guards the bishop. That is why I went to b2 again, to have the pressure on the rook, stay on this file so that the rook cannot escape, and also guard this bishop. What he ended up going for was knight to d2. I don't know what he missed. I don't know why he went here, honestly. Probably just to develop, because my pawn on b3 is actually annoying as well. I captured with check, of course, and I captured right down here. There were multiple ideas I had going into this a3, because now I got the rook back. That was the entire point of like this counterattack. Get those pieces, get that free rook in the corner. So now material is roughly equal. And I am thinking, okay, I have this strong passed pawn that I can just park here with the bishop. And he will always have to dedicate a piece and a king, for instance, to just defending the promotion here. While I always need to keep an eye on this stupid pawn on c7 ruining my day. He played knight to h5. Of course, going after my bishop. 3 attackers on this bishop, and there are only 2 defenders. So he could just, if I did nothing, take, and take again. That could be devastating, to lose a pawn and expose my king. And I was thinking here, what can I do? And I found the best continuation to be to trade the queen. This is a forceful trade. You cannot move the king because the queen would drop for free. So he of course took and I recaptured. I also had the plan that because I recaptured, my bishop is now protected 3 times, so no exchange sacrifices could ever allow the promotion. He played a move rook to c1, understandably going after the promotion. But I stopped it calmly thanks to my lovely pawn on b4 with bishop to c3. So now I'm just targeting the knight ever. And what I talked about, the cementoing of this knight here, that is what is working. This bishop. And I also have the idea in the future, if the knight ever leaves, to go to f6 and threaten this massive invasion. I could also do it straight away with this move, but then he can just go back here. So those were the ideas that I had in my head. And he played knight to f4. The immediate thing here was, well, execute my plan, rook a to f6. I wanted to push this knight away, and my plan was, let's say he plays a nothing move, like, I don't know, this. My plan was to go g4 and g5 to try and free this square, but at that point he would just come back, and I didn't really see. Like, I would have to do this, but then he can defend, but then it's en passant, but then he can do this, and he still somehow keeps the f2 square to himself. So, oops, sorry. Here I was. So after knight to f4 and this, he ended up going for knight to d5, which was very interesting. He thought he was sneakily attacking 2 of my pieces and defending the pawn, yet completely forgot about rook to f2 check. This was a critical blunder for him, losing there, losing his very important knight, and that is with check as well, so he ended up running further. Now I was looking at this position going, okay, I really want to get this pawn away, so how about I play rook to c7? Thankfully, I saw that this would be a fork. You know, the king here, the rook here, he would just win a full rook, he would be completely fine, and even winning, I'd say, thanks to this extremely strong c7 pawn. But somehow what I did not realize is that he can do the same thing here. Play knight to e7 check. Yes, you don't win my rook this way, but after I slide, you just promote. And you win the rook this way. So the game is just back and forth, but this is still somehow winning because I have 2 pawns to the good. How did I go from being down 3 pawns to up 2? How? Alright. So what I realized here is that his knight is kind of offside, and I don't pay me money to explain the move e4. I really don't know what it does. I would rescue the knight here, but clearly I'm a bad chess player. So I go here. Rook to h6 is setting up a simple trap of rook to c6 check. That would be a fork once more, and I would win the knight. He fell for this thing once, and now he fell for it again. This time he was really angry about that loss, and this was unfortunately his last and critical blunder. I took the free knight, now I'm completely winning once more. He tried to push his last remaining pawn, no good. I'm going after the last pawn he has. After that, he defends it desperately, nothing to do. He tries to bring his king over. I take, and in this position he captured. And just as I was writing down the move, before I even took, he said, I think it's the time to resign because after I would have taken, I have three passed pawns, bishop, king. I have him in the perfect opposition. Even if he plays something like this, I play this and his escape squares are covered. And I can just push, make a queen, and I'm sure that I would have won with the checkmate. So this was the position. This was it. And I would like to thank you for watching. Sorry, this was the position. And I would like to thank you for watching and thank to my physics teacher for playing this game with me. One of the most crazy games of my life. Yeah. Have a blessed summer, everybody, and may God bless you all. See you in the next video.